and welcome to the world of AP Language and Composition. Today, we will be delving into the complex world of every book that we've read this year, including intense narratives and the many themes that we've covered from September till now. And then
Welcome back to the Conspiracy Channel, where we cover all things suspicious and ambiguous worth covering by conspiracy channels such as ourselves. We are trustworthy. Oh my god. Welcome back to the Conspiracy Channel, where we cover all things suspicious and criminal. Mostly criminal, however. We are at the crime scene of Myrtle Wilson, where she was killed by a speeding car, by a hit and run. Jay Gatsby himself recently admitted that he was the one in the car, driving it and killing her. However, we might think differently. We are at the crime scene here to gather witness reports of the actual scene so we can put together the true story.
I was just walking my dog down the road, and I see this car just hit this woman, and the woman was on the ground, and there was blood, and it was the most gruesome thing I've ever seen in my life. And she was dead, and the woman in the car just drove off without a second thought, and I was left there with the dead woman on the ground with my dog.
A woman? You're sure the woman was in the car? The driver?
Very distinctly a woman.
And she was in the driver's seat? A woman?
Yes. I could not have mistaken her for a man.
Isn't that interesting? See, our reports here say that Jay Gatsby was the one to kill Myrtle Wilson because he was in the car that killed her. However, this witness here seems to insist that the driver was a woman. Now, I believe her. And I will tell you why. Stay with me here. I believe that Gatsby planted the woman in the car to kill Myrtle Wilson. Why, you ask? I don't know. We will find out on next episode of Conspiracy Channel next time. Now, for our ad break. Hello, more students. For those taking AP Lang next year, here's my advice to you from someone who took it this year. Make sure to stay on top of your reading. Keep up with your nightly homework. And most of all, and most importantly, have fun.
Good evening and welcome to CRA 196.4 News. I'm Otto Kennedy.
And I'm Emmanuel Williams. Tonight, we focus on a book hailed for its powerful examination of race in America. Ta-Nehisi Coates' Between the World and Me is more than just a memoir. It's a polemic exploration of the black experience in the United States, but in the form of a letter to his own teenage son. The book has sparked intense discussion and even some controversy since its release. At its core, Coates addresses the conflict that black Americans face in a country still grappling with systemic racism. He speaks candidly about his own experiences and the historical legacy of violence against black Americans.
One of the central conflicts Coates discusses is a struggle for black Americans to find safety and self-worth in a society that often devalues them. He paints a vivid picture of the fear he felt growing up in Baltimore and the constant threat of violence that hangs over black communities.
Coates also, interestingly, confronts the American dream, arguing that it's built on the exploitation and oppression of black people. He writes about the inner conflicts he felt as he realized that his dream was ambiguous, never meant for him or others who look like him.
To give us a little more insight into the impact and the controversy surrounding his book, we have cultural critic and professor of African American Studies, Dr. Broom Novak, joining us. Dr. Novak, after this message.
Oh, school. A place for learning, development, and making new friends. And one of your best friends will be the pencil. Reliable, durable, and time-tested.
Is what a liar would say. Pencils always break, they need to be sharpened 24/7, and they're starting to cost even more money. What you need is a pen. Pens are durable, last longer, and they'll never break. And there's so many varieties. And there's colored ones, you don't have to deal with the shavings, you don't have to clean them from the pencil sharpener, and then your hands don't get dirty, and then
This message was brought to you by the Anti-Pencil League.
Thank you for having me.
Dr. Novak, Between the World and Me has been praised for its raw honesty and formal diction. But it's also been criticized by some who feel Coates paints or displays a tone of an overly bleak picture of race relations in America. What are your thoughts on this?
Coach's work is undeniably powerful because it does not shy away from the harsh realities faced by Black Americans. The conflict he describes is not just personally emotional, but systematic and historical, backed by facts and a thread of events that have led to this conflict of race relations. While some may see his portrayal as bleak, even disheartening, it's important to understand that Coates is speaking his truth and the truth of many others. This book serves as a wake-up call to those who may not be aware of the depth of these issues.
Coates also talks about his fear for his son's future and the inevitability of this generational struggle further continuing into this next generation. How do you think he addresses this conflict, and what response has it generated among readers, particularly parents?
Coates' fears for his son are a reflection of a long-standing conflict that many Black parents face. How to prepare their child for a world that might not value their lives. This can resonate deeply with some readers, especially Black parents, who may share similar anxieties. I have personally seen that this book has sparked important conversations about how to protect and empower Black youth in a society that is often hostile towards them.
Dr. Novak, Coates also discusses the idea of bodily autonomy and the concept of the dreamers, those who are oblivious to the realities faced by Black Americans. Could you elaborate on this?
Yes. Coates critiques the dreamers as those who live in a bubble of privilege and denial, unaware of the systematic injustices that uphold their comfort. He argues that this ignorance perpetuates the conflict and violence against Black bodies. By bringing these issues to light, Coates hopes to challenge these individuals to confront the uncomfortable truths about race in America.
Thank you so much, Dr. Novak, for your valuable insights and your time.
It was my pleasure.
Between the World and Me continues to be a catalyst for crucial conversations about race, identity, and justice in America. Whether you agree with Coates' perspective or not, his book challenges readers to think deeply about the ongoing conflicts that shape our society.
That's all for our special segment tonight.
Good night.
Good night, and thank you for watching.
That was my line!
We're still...
This just in. A husband and father of two has been reported missing. This person is named Willie Loman. He was last spotted leaving his house in a 1928 Studebaker. His family has reported that Willie does indeed suffer from confusion and memory loss. If you see him in public, please alert authorities and approach him with caution. Now, to our frontline reporter, Will, with the Loman family.
It does not seem like we'll be able to interview Linda or Happy since they're unavailable. We're here today with Biff Loman, eldest son of Willie Loman. Nice to meet you, Biff. Nice to meet you. I'm Will, a news reporter from Channel 9 News. I'm very sorry you had to go through this, Biff. Were there any signs that there was something different with your father recently?
You know, actually there was. Lately, he'd been very forgetful and he'd been doing things out of the ordinary. He just didn't seem like himself.
What were some of the things that were out of the ordinary?
I don't know. Lately he's been just different, you know? Like, lately, he's been talking to himself a lot, but not like a normal amount. It's almost like he's recreating the past in his head. Lately, it sounds like he's been talking to his dead brother, but it's like he thinks he's still here. He's also been contradicting himself a lot lately. For example, he was talking about his car and said that the Chevrolet is the greatest car ever built. Then immediately after that he said, that goddamn Chevrolet, they have to put a prohibit on this manufacture of the car. I just don't know what to make of this. And now he's gone. It's all our fault.
It's going to be alright, son. Don't worry, this is nobody's fault. Sorry to be a pest, but was there any place that your father was talking about going? Or was there any reason why you think he'd leave?
Well, now that you mentioned it, he always talked about having a grand funeral with all of his friends. And he has gotten into a few accidents lately. Some possibly not by accident. At least that's what the insurance company's saying. But I don't buy into it. He was a loving father, a very accomplished man. I don't know why he would just leave.
I hope this is helpful to the detectives. I hope this is helpful to... I hope this... I hope that it was helpful to the detectives. Now, Biff, how is AP Lang helping you cope with this whole crazy experience?
Well, I think that's kind of an odd question, but to be honest, it's been a great cornerstone for me. Ling has offered me the support I need when I'm going through really tough times. Because of the great writing we did, I'm now able to think about the rhetoric of these situations. Like, what is the pathos behind my dad leaving me? Now I know.
Thank you for this helpful insight.
Hey!
Who is this?
If you want the truth, listen to me. Willie Loman is a nut. He is a nut. He's a nobody. And he has never been anything. That man is taking a car and is trying to cash out his life insurance.
Hey! Watch your mouth, old man. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, please. I thought you were smarter than this, bitch. The signs have been there all along. That man's a ticking time bomb, and you know it.
That's enough. I'm coming over there to shut you up.
Oh, sorry. Oh, breaking news. This just came in. Willie Loman has been spotted on Route 1. Now cutting to the live footage.
Now, all right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Breaking news. Missing person Willie Loman has been found. His car has been found off of Route 1. Sadly, Willie Loman has been found in the car, but he's not responding. After contacting local authorities, we have gained the traffic footage and from his last moments. Your discretion is advised. Let's check out the scene of the accident. Oh my God. Hey, you can't film here. Sorry, officer.
Okay.
I've never seen a dead body before.
Good morning. Today we are covering The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Let's see what's going on with Hester Prynne in Boston right now.
Good morning. I am here today in Boston, Massachusetts, and here we have Miss Prynne being released from prison. Hester Prynne is an adulteress, and she must now face public humiliation for her sin. What's that letter on her shirt, you ask? Well, the townspeople have agreed that as punishment for her sin, Hester must be branded with a scarlet letter A to symbolize her guilt. Let's interview Miss Prynne now, shall we? What are your thoughts on having to stand on this scaffold today? Who is the father of your child? What are your thoughts on your sin? Well, let's interview the townspeople, shall we? Reverend Dimsdale, do you have any idea who the father of this bastard child might be?
No, miss. But God sees all, and he knows who has sinned. The sinner shall face a lifetime of guilt for his wrongdoing.
And so he shall. Do you believe that Hester might reveal who she has sinned with?
It does not appear that she shall, but the truth always reveals itself with time.
I hope you are right. That way, when the Father is revealed, he may face punishment as well. Thank you, Reverend Dimsdale.
My pleasure.
And now we have the townswomen here to give their take on the situation.
That wretch slept with one of our husbands.
My Joseph would never be with a woman like her. He is loyal to me.
You hope he is.
I know my Joseph. I often know that Rupert glances in Hester's way. He is definitely the father of that devil child.
You dingy old rat!
Mom, am I a devil child?
No, but that child over there is. Ladies, let's not fight. I'm sure your husbands are very faithful. What are your thoughts on Hester having to wear a scarlet letter A?
I think that she should have been beheaded.
Yeah, it's not fair that she's so good with the sewing needle. It's insulting.
We should stone her.
Yeah! Well, that is all the information we have today. Thanks for tuning in. Back to you, Miss Hart.
As you have seen, Hester's scarlet A serves as a symbol for her adultery and guilt, making her an outcast in the town. Whether she faces a harsher punishment, only time will tell. Dimsdale's tone seemed rather nervous, which may foreshadow some guilt on his part. Thank you for listening today, and we hope to see you next time as we continue to update you on Hester's story. And now for a commercial break.
Ladies and gentlemen.
You a future AP Lang student?
Well, we have a message for you.
Don't fret. We are going to tell you everything that you need to know.
First of all, don't get on Mrs. Stanton's bad side, or she'll have to see you in the hall for a minute.
Second of all, know what your rhetoric is. What's your rhetoric?
And lastly, be prepared to trudge through some really stagnant books.
Good luck to you all.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Dan reporting for Channel 7 News. In a new discovery, scientists were able to keep cells alive in Johns Hopkins Hospital for a new experiment called HeLa cells. Further information traced these cells back to a woman from Clover, Virginia named Henrietta Lacks. We have Derek reporting outside Johns Hopkins Hospital with the Lacks family.
Thanks, Dan. I'm here outside Johns Hopkins Hospital with the family of Henrietta Lacks. Today I'm here with
Deborah,
Zachariah,
Day.
Just moments ago, the family found out that their mother's cells have been alive 25 years after her passing. What's going through your mind after learning this news about your mother?
I never really knew my mother, but my first thought is that these experiments are causing her physical pain. I just have to keep reminding myself that she's already dead.
What are your feelings about this whole situation?
I mean, what do you think? Obviously, we're so upset. All this has been happening to my wife for 25 years. We've had no idea. We haven't received money or anything. It's an outrage. It's an outrage.
I agree. What do you wish to see happen moving forward?
We want to see our mother get the credit she deserves for the contributions she gave to science.
And we would like to settle a lawsuit against the Johns Hopkins Hospital and bring justice to our family from Dr. George Gay. Behind me is the hospital where Henrietta went for her weekly cancer radiation visits. Did you ever have any uncertainty about these treatments?
No, I mean, I had no idea. I had no idea my wife had cancer. She always went to Margaret's house for her treatments, I guess, just to keep me out of the loop.
Do you have anything else you wish to add?
Yes. I've been approached by many different authors asking me to share information about my mother. Rebecca Skloot asked me to help her write a book about my mother, who she was, and her contribution to science.
Thank you, Derek. We'll be back with more on the HeLa cells case in a moment.
Jay Marlowe from the Chicago Tribune, reporting to you live from a grisly scene unfolding before us in our own backyard. Who knew Chicago could be home to such atrocities? This morning, Friday, July 19th, detectives finally began the exploration of this hotel behind me, thought to be in connection to the H.H. Holmes case. Although the exploration is still in progress. Standing 3 stories tall, this hotel, built by H.H. Holmes, who is now in prison for connection to numerous crimes, has over 50 rooms. The detectives handling this case began searching on the 3rd floor and are working their way down to the basements. These efforts are headed by Detective Frank Geyer. While the results of the 3rd floor's inspection show very few abnormalities, the 2nd floor made the Chicago police much more suspicious. 35 rooms, some ordinary bedrooms, others irregular with strange modifications. Several rooms have no windows and are fitted with iron doors to make them airtight. There is one room, though, the detectives are especially wary of. From the outside, it looks just like any other room in the hotel. However, inside its walls are lined with iron, a walk-in vault. A gas jet is attached to the center of the room, and the valve to control it is located in Holmes' personal apartment. Examination of the basement only began a few hours ago, but has quickly become the center of this investigation due to the horrific objects found within. This basement is a dark, damp space. Inside were several incinerators, some containing particulates of human remains. Clothing and personal items were found stashed in the walls, along with several skeletal fragments, including a femur bone, several rib bones belonging to an infant, and a skull. Blood stains the floor of what can only be described as Holmes' murder chambers. For now, the details of this house are still being investigated. But tune in later tonight to see the results of CPD's extensive search. Now, I'll send you over to MMQ, trailing this spine-chilling case all the way to Toronto.
Thank you, Jay. I am live in Toronto, right in front of this seemingly innocent home that has reportedly been purchased by H.H. Holmes. Holmes has secured this house with the intent of murdering children. Holmes was arrested early this morning, finally ending the nationwide manhunt. He profusely proclaimed his innocence, but his proposed sentence is permanent placement in the penitentiary. In the basement, the bodies of 2 small children have been discovered. It is believed that the children are Nellie and Alice Pettitson, the children of H.H. Holmes' assistant. The manner in which they were murdered was quite brutal, so viewer discretion is advised. Alice and Nellie were found naked, 3 feet under. Nellie had a club foot, which would be easily recognizable. To disguise her identity, Holmes cut both of her feet off. The mother of the children was able to identify the girls by Nellie's thick black braid. The Pettitson children died after being placed in a large trunk and gassed via a tube. The steamer trunk in question is confirmed to belong to Holmes, as his name was written on the side. Holmes is now under investigation for up to 20 murders, although we may never know how many he truly committed. In his new book, Devil in the White City, Erik Larson describes all the gory details of Holmes' life. Larson describes Holmes as a troubled man with a desire for manipulation. Larson is a popular historical writer and has over 5 best-selling books. He tells facts, but lets them speak for themselves. In these dark times, one can choose to be a menacing figure like Holmes or a beacon of knowledge like Erik Larson. If you wish to be as astute as him, take AP Lang at your local high school. Well, that's it for today. This is Emma McHugh for the Chicago Tribune. Good night, folks.
Good morning, and welcome back to Shakespearean News. I'm Andrew Savage. We're currently covering Midsummer Night's Dream by the one and only William Shakespeare. The big news today is the marriage of Theseus, the Duke of Athens, and the famed Hippolyta, the Queen of the Amazons. Jumping to wedding preparations, we have Sawyer Wright on the scene.
I'm here talking to Nick Bottom about play preparations.
I know everything there is to know about plays. If only I could play every role, then it would go so much smoother. We're so excited to perform at the grand wedding of Theseus and Hippolyta.
Wow, you're very confident in your abilities. I'm excited to hear about the performance, and I'm sure the viewers of Shakespearean News are as well. Back to you, Anders.
While the wedding preparations continue, a love story is unfolding in our very forest. Sawyer Wright on the scene.
Here we have a love potion, concocted from the flower called Love and Idleness. It appears Robin has put the potion on Lysander's eyes? For what purpose? Oh, it seems Lysander has woken up and seen me. He's fallen in love with me. Anders, back to you.
We're gonna have to cut to commercial to figure out what's going on out in the field. So we have a word from our sponsor, AP Lang. Losing weight over AP Lang? Well, that's too bad. It's an important class to help you focus on your writing styles and techniques. This class will allow you to grow as a writer and as a person. If it seems daunting, just stay up on your work and you'll do fine. Personally, as a student who's taken AP Lang, I can confirm that I've learned a lot, and you will too. So, if you want to become an important reporter like me and Sawyer, take AP Lang. Now, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Back to you, Sawyer.
It looks like Nick Bottom, the man in the play at the grand wedding, has been turned into an ass by the mischievous Puck.
I'm now getting word that our young reporters, Sawyer Wright and myself, have been convinced to join a song with some fairies in the forest.
You spotted snakes with double tongue, thorny hedgehogs be not seen, newts and blind worms do no wrong, come not near our fairy queen.
Philomel with melody, singing our sweet lullaby, lulla lullaby, lulla lullaby, never harm, nor spell, nor charm, come our lovely lady nigh, so good night with lullaby.
Weaving spiders come not here, hence, you long-legged spinners, hence. Beetles black, approach not near, worm nor snail, do not offense.
Philomel with melody, singing our sweet lullaby, lulla lullaby, lulla lullaby, never harm, nor spell, nor charm, come our lovely lady nigh, so good night with lullaby. And after that fun song, we're going to talk about some of the literary devices used in this wonderful play, A Midsummer Night's Dream. First, personification comes from a soliloquy with one of your favorite lovers, Helena, when she says, "Love looks not with the eyes." Secondly, we have hyperbole, which comes from a sad moment between Helena and Demetrius. Helena is abandoned and she says, No, I am as ugly as a bear, for beasts that meet me run away with fear." Finally, we see imagery through a quote from the king of fairies himself, Oberon. He says, "I know a bank where the wild thyme blows, where ox lips and nodding violet grows." This quote provides some imagery in our story. Now, back to the wedding.
This is truly magnificent showing of beauty. This wedding is spectacular. I'm here watching the play unfold. We see the very confident Nick Bottom in his role of Pyramus, and the well-known flute is playing Thisbe. This seems to be going over well with the newly-wed couple. That's all from me today. Back to Anders with some final thoughts.
As you know, Shakespearean News is completely accurate and always informed. Please contact if you have any inquiries. We now send you back to our main station, Anders Savage, Shakespearean News.
Going live in 3, 2, 1. Please appropriately adjust your telescreen for this broadcast. Welcome to channel 19.84444. First up on the program is the official declaration of increased food rations by Big Brother. This is due to a series of unsuccessful campaigns in North Asia. Reports of increased casualties has shown Oceania's advancement in the war. And remember,
the old news anchor was vaporized. Any and all mention of his existence will be brought to immediate ministry attention.
Next up on our news broadcast is the Ministry of Love. Currently, the Ministry of Love is being repaired. As one might say, the descriptions of the Ministry of Love are using imagery. This is essential to understanding mini-love, or the Ministry of Love in Old English. This is further useful due to renovations made after a Eurasian attack. Mini-love has been described as the place where there is no darkness. This attack barely scratched our great nation, showing Big Brother's superiority over our enemies. As oxymoronic as Newspeak may seem to those less inclined to its patterns, the latest Newspeak dictionary has just been approved and dispersed to high-ranking members of the ministry.
Hatred is among us. Hatred is the way of life.
We cannot let Goldstein's symbolism creep into our world. We cannot let Goldstein's rebellious ways turn us into a worse version of ourselves. We cannot let Goldstein achieve victory. Big Brother approves this message. Wait, who's Goldstein?
I've lost all ambition.
Wait, no. After participating in mandatory hate, we bring to you a prole from the Garden Districts. This prole was recorded singing by a dutiful member of the Junior Spies program. The member in question was commended by Big Brother for their actions in reporting this most outrageous act of defiance against ministry law. Join me in listening to this disturbing audio of a song thought lost long ago.
I just want to be the one you love. And with your admission that you feel the same, I'll have reached the goal I'm dreaming of, believe me. I don't want to set the world on fire.
And a message to the future generations of AP Lang students who will most certainly become loyal members to the ministry. Big Brother asks you to embrace all the hardships of growing up. Big Brother has approved this message. Any and all messages not approved by Big Brother are considered false and should be ignored. Failure will result in immediate termination. Wait, what? What, immediate termination? No, that can't...
Fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart.
Thank you, Janice, for the new cigarettes. Is that a pretzel? Janice, I said the other cigarettes, not the fake ones. Join us in saluting Big Brother.
Good morning, APLA News. My name is Otto Hibble. To start off the morning, let's take a look at today's traffic report. We recommend leaving the house a few minutes early as there's moderate to heavy traffic today along Route 1 in Woolwich, which is very typical for this time of year. This year marks the 62nd anniversary of John Steinbeck's Travels with Charlie, a novel that chronicles his journey across America in 1960. Let's turn to Dr. Albert Brown, PhD in Steinbeck analysis, one of the leading experts in this topic.
Yes, and I just want to thank you so much for allowing me to speak here today, because I think Travels with Charlie is really one of those foundational American novels. It's something everyone should read, and Steinbeck uses many literary devices to great effect in his novel. I mean, the first and most obvious one that people look at is that the whole story is told in the first-person perspective. And that really just allows you, as the reader, to see firsthand what Steinbeck experienced as he was traveling across America. It's a powerful literary device, and it really adds to this tale and the experience as we're reading the novel. Now, the other thing that I like to bring up, sort of tying in with that, is Steinbeck's personification of Charlie. Yeah. If I could just draw your attention to one particular scene in the book that stands out to me. There's one example where Steinbeck encounters a coyote in the desert, and he gets out his gun, but ultimately decides not to shoot it. This scene is so powerful to me for many reasons, but the most prominent is Steinbeck's use of imagery. It feels so vivid. It feels like you're right there in the moment, experiencing what Steinbeck is feeling through his storytelling. The final thing that I think viewers should take away from reading Travels with Charlie is the way Steinbeck ends the book. It ends in the southern U.S., and it's sort of an exploration of societal dysfunction, especially around issues of racism and segregation. And he sort of reveals these deep-seated prejudices and injustices, which invokes a strong emotional response from the reader, or it really ties into the pathos of his writing. So between all of these powerful messages, it's clear to see why Steinbeck's works have been so highly regarded.
Thank you, Dr. Brown.
Thank you. Have a great day.
And now we delve deeper into the major conflicts depicted in the novel. A significant theme is the struggle between man and society. As Steinbeck travels the American landscape, he increasingly loses faith in American society. The theme of being lost, both mentally and physically, pervades the narrative. Despite having numerous maps at his disposal, Steinbeck frequently finds himself disoriented. The sense of being lost extends to his mind, as well as grapples with the complexities of American culture in comparison to other countries. These conflicts add a strong depth to his journey, illustrating the broader challenges he faces. Now let's turn to one of our senior correspondents in the field, Declan Wright.
Thank you, Otto. Today I am standing on the picturesque coastline of Deer Isle, Maine. This gorgeous location is one of the first places Steinbeck visits in his journey across America. He remarks through his writing that Deer Isle has an almost mysterious feeling to it, and yet its sense of community is one of the strongest out of any place he visits. In fact, Deer Isle provides a stark contrast to later parts of the novel, where we see a version of modern America. This can be seen through Deer Isle's focus on fishing, which Steinbeck also writes about. On his journey to Deer Isle in the novel, Steinbeck embarks on several misadventures and is lost before he even makes it to the island. However, it provides as a strong focal point and sets up many ideas that are explored later in the novel. Thank you for your time, and back to you.
Thank you, Declan. We'll be right back after the commercial break.
Hey, Otto, what's your favorite class?
It would have to be AP Language and Composition.
Bye.